Sometimes the best ideas just don't resonate.
No.
And you have to really quickly respond to that.
We forgot what we do well and what makes us great.
Often there's more value in how you recover
Yes.
than there is in not making an error. Let's face it, one of the biggest selling shoes in the market is Birkenstock.
Yeah.
Right? And we think, oh, that sells millions. I'm going to create a Birkenstock looking shoe. We could do that. We wouldn't sell hardly any of them. We would look at what was in the market and do our own version of it. And I guess one of the biggest mistakes we did was we didn't.
Welcome to the Comfort Walk and Talk, where every step towards comfort is a step towards a healthier you.
We're your hosts,
Jeff,
Allanah.
And Ben.
together, let's transform our lives from the ground up. Hello again for the next episode of Comfort Walk and Talk by the Comfort Co. I'm here with Allanah and
Hello.
Ben.
Hi.
It's an interesting episode today. We're going to talk about and, maybe air some of our deepest secrets. Some of the experiences that we've learned from, the educational pieces. We're not going to call them failures. I'm going to call them learning opportunities today.
Yes.
Right. But we're going to talk about a few things that we've learned along the way. And I think the key thing with any problem that you have in a business or in product is as long as you look at it and you learn from it and you don't do it again, that's the key. And I think we've done that many times over our experience. So, I'll start in Lance and Ben's. You'll have some different perspectives on ideas, but maybe I'll start with one of the ones that I think is top of mind for me is when we launched one of our new brands, Mia Vida, 3 years ago now. We actually launched that brand and we thought that we would look at what was in the market and do our own version of it. Right? And I guess one of the biggest mistakes we did was we didn't actually incorporate all the important comfort features that really we focused on as a business.
Yeah, there wasn't, arch support.
Art support and some of the more, we focused more on casual, we went a bit too dressy.
Yeah.
And, it didn't work for us. But, what was your experience with that line?
Yeah, it all looked good on paper,
I
think, and the designs were great and the colours were good, but it comes and it was sort of like a Me Too thing. It really wasn't what our heart and soul is at the Comfort Co., which is that comfort recipe. It's the fit features, it's comfort. We've since, redesigned our Mia Vida range, and now you have a whole team go into the display when the samples are out and go, I will have every one of those. And we didn't have that. Yeah. And that's not successful when you launch a brand and everyone doesn't want them.
Yeah. It's really important to focus on the things that you do well. Yes. And here at the Comfort Co., what we do well is the comfort recipe, which is, every single pair of shoes that we make will have that arch support. We'll have that cushioning, but not just cushioning where you need it for a purpose, and it will fit like a dream. And we kind of forgot about that. And so, as you said, we were copying, well, for lack of a better term, copying other things on the market, but then there was nothing that we did that set it apart. We forgot what we do well and what makes us great.
Yeah,
exactly.
And now it's in the shoes, and from all reports, unfortunately, they don't make Mia Vidas in my size, but every single time I've been to photo shoots and this and that and the other, when I've seen the reaction for when the models put these shoes on, like, wow.
Yeah.
And we're getting customer reaction now straight away. The shoes hit the shelf. We just had one recently, a new shoe hit the shelf and refills happening straight away. So, it's like you can know immediately if something's going to work and that we're seeing that. And, I remember back to, it should have been a tell for us. We were trying to squeeze marketing messages around Mia Vida that just weren't us. Like, I remember one it was a great message. It was a really good idea. Own the room, but it was like, it was all about dress and fashion and didn't say a thing about what we do.
Yeah.
When you look good, you feel good. But it should be when you feel good and look good, you feel even better.
That's right. Yeah. No, it just wasn't it's a big learning. It wasn't our DNA.
Yeah.
I remember, Ben, when you first started, going back to the marketing side of things, you worked on this big campaign.
I did.
For the launch of our brand new cork sandals, the cork Mia Vida. So we got these developed in a factory and that we hadn't used before. which is, part of our learnings we'll get to. And they looked really good. They were comfortable. We had samples. They were comfortable. And Ben, you did this big campaign for it.
Big campaign called Corks for Corks it was. So we got a vineyard in. We one of my mates runs a vineyard down in Victoria, and they help us out. We help you out. It was all women going for wines in their cork shoes, and the campaign was huge. And then all of a sudden, the shoes weren't up to code. We couldn't release them. We'd already started running that campaign, and we'd like, look, if something just isn't that quality, we don't want to be associated with that. We're not. We are a brand that we're a company that really, really prides ourselves on our quality. So that if you are getting a shoe that is available at the Comfort Co, it is going to be a great quality, great fitting, really comfortable pair of shoes. And it was kind of, we had that thought. It's like we've run this campaign. Because it was one of the first times that we'd done a pre-order launch campaign too. And so coming out, it's like, oh no, do we run with? And we couldn't. We couldn't do that to people that have come to expect a level of quality and things from us. You don't. Firstly, because that would we had to take a hit on that because people would lose their trust. Well, the problem, you don't want to be doing anything shady, do you?
The top was peeling off.
Yes.
In a percentage, which was quite a large percentage.
Yes. So it wasn't every shoe, but it was enough of a percentage that we had to pull.
And so we pulled, and as you say, we wrote the whole lot off. It cost us a lot of money, but it was better to do that than have 40% of our customers come back and say it's peeling.
Yeah, that's right. And it just taught us about, new factories and things like that. We have a very, very strong QA process in our existing factory setup, and this one was a new one that we didn't really put in that QA process in. So,
sorry, just for people who might not know what's QA.
It's quality assurance. We have people that go to our factories, take shoes off the production line and test them.
Basically try and destroy them.
And we recently had one, and it's delayed some shoes, so we didn't have to pull them, where our QA team went into the factory. There was a new boot that we had, very exciting new boot. We're really excited about it. And they started pulling it apart, and it actually came apart. So the uppers came, off the bottoms. They hadn't glued them right. So they had to pull all of that production and restart it, which pushed us a month behind. But at least we didn't have to pull that
and
one.
And one of the ways and we've really put in a strong policy where to motivate the factories to ensure this doesn't happen again, they also had to air freight it to us.
Yeah.
So
very expensive.
They paid for the air freight. But it comes down to having to have certain principles that are important to the way you do things, and quality is important. So another experience, and it comes back to another, like we talk about, maybe Me Too, and there's plenty of examples. We'll come to a few more of those, but and something might work for a brand and something you think it's working for that brand, why can't I do it? But maybe it's the brand that makes it work. So there's some experiences in that. But I think one of the important pillars that we've spent some time talking in episodes is about fit. And that is probably, I would say, one of our greatest learnings is the more you put into fit testing, the better.
Yes.
And we've done a lot of work on fit testing, but still we've got some really important lessons in terms of shoes that we've put into the market where maybe we fit tested to a certain portion of the users, but we didn't fit test across medium and wide and all that. So we didn't get a true read. And a good example was our Vida Sol Walker, which is a famous shoe in our business now. It's like within basically a couple of years, it's one of our biggest selling shoes. It's an amazing shoe. But we're at to Walker 3, and it's not because we've got the third level of fashion. But, at the end of the day, Lance, we've made the decision quickly to say, right, Walker 1 off, there's Walker 2, and then 3 finally. Yeah.
So the difference between Walker 1 and Walker 2 was fitting.
Yeah.
So we extended the
the length and made the toe box deeper. It was a bit shallow for some of the people, and they could feel the top of their toe.
Yes.
Not everyone, but we didn't pick it up.
That's right.
In the fit testing. And so we've we needed a wider group to
Yeah.
pick it up.
And then the 2 and 3 is a little bit more fitting, but also the durability of the outsole. You guys found some technology that could go on the outsole to make it even more durable.
Yeah, we increased the we increased the rubber tread, and we looked at a different grade of it that would basically make it last twice as long.
Yeah.
Perfect. 20,000 steps a day, guys.
So we turned that failure, well, not failure, but a learning into a success story, because that's one of our top shoes now.
Exactly. Actually, it's funny, the way you said that reminds me of something that I learned years ago, is that often there's more value in how you recover
Yes.
than there is in not making an error, right? And hopefully people respect, if we're honest and we respond in a recovery,
Yep.
then they respect that, because that's what we try and always do, is we learn and then we fix it. Right? And the recovery in that was extraordinary, in terms of that. Very quickly, within months, we're at phase 3.
That's right. Yeah.
So I just want to put out there as well, with the Walker 1, there wasn't anything specifically wrong with it.
It's just the fitting.
It just fit a little bit funny. But if you did, we ended up putting out advice for those ones, like go a size up.
Yes.
If you're going to be buying these shoes, go a size up, and just ways around that we had found through our fit testing after we had already developed the product, that if you do go a size up, it's fine. But
it was a learning for us, because it was our first shoe that we'd truly tried to build as a unisex shoe.
Yes.
So it's fitting across men and women. And we've talked many times in episodes about how lasting for men and women are different, how men have different feet to women. So we've tried to accommodate both men and women in this one shoe, and we think we've perfected it.
And we've done 2 widths now as well.
We've done 2 widths now, yeah.
The other thing I remember now is that Walker 1, again, it goes back to the Mia Vida story, was we launched it without an arch support insole.
That's right, yeah.
How ridiculous, really. Is it?
silly.
Wouldn't happen now.
But so the Walker 3 has the arch support. So again, a lesson is be true to yourself. I mean, Ben said it before. When you do what you do well and do it many, many times.
Yeah.
And that's a big lesson.
It's our comfort recipe that sets the Comfort Co apart compared to some of our competitors. And we do fit, we do arch support, we do cushioning really, really well. That's our bread and butter. That's what we do, and that has now really kind of backed it up for us to put that in every single shoe and make sure that every single shoe that we provide has that.
Yeah,
so important.
Yeah, and if we even think outside of shoes, I mean, we've been in shoes for 15-ish plus years now. We've tried other things.
Yeah.
We have tried other things over the years. I mean, we do have other products, but majorly shoes. So I'm trying to think back to ones we did a spray cream foot thing.
Soothe and smooth.
That we didn't know how to sell. So how were we going to sell it?
Yeah, because I'm sitting right here. What? Sorry,
foot odor.
Yeah, it's a spray. You spray it on it smooths the cracks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So rather than you get your pharmacy creams and things like that, this one was a spray.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So more convenient. And that was our sales pitch. I don't know. How did we not sell that?
Yeah. Wow.
But
I'll take 3 cases.
Again, you go up against like go to a pharmacy and there's Scholl or Yolactol.
Yeah.
So again, it's a lesson: is do what you do well. Don't sort of step into other areas like that.
Yeah, don't go up against the big pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
And then another one that comes to mind is we had a sock, and Ben, this will make you laugh. It was called the Bootmate sock. Okay. So people that have to wear steel cap boots, it's a bit uncomfortable on their toes. So it was a black sock and it had a bright orange gel piece on top that they would wear in their boots.
Sounds cool.
It was a great idea.
Cool. Who are we selling it to? How are we selling it?
Yeah.
And this was before e-com. Yeah. Like this was before our launch into it probably would be a really good e-com product now.
Yeah.
But this was before that, and we just sat there looking at the stock. I think we still have some out the back if you want to.
I think it's peeling off now.
Peeling off now.
But it's the orange on the black.
The orange on the black.
Now, the reason why, because a couple of guys had designed it, for the mining industry.
Male designers.
It's orange. It's orange and black. It's like it's the industry. But it doesn't look particularly attractive on the shelf.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Right.
But that was, to me, that was a good thing about too. Sometimes the best ideas just don't resonate.
No.
And you have to really quickly respond to that. You know, we've had some insoles in the past that are great insoles, clinically tested,
Yep.
Strong medical studies. They make sense, but
who cares?
they just they want to go to the normal one that they've bought every time.
Yeah.
And it's
I remember when we launched our first diabetic brand. So the shoes were great, really, really good shoes. They launched compression stockings, and being in operations, you should have seen the SKU count on these. They were different levels of compression.
Yeah.
And then different sizes, and then different lengths.
Yeah.
And you were expected to sell them and range them all in a medical for a very limited function compression stocking.
yeah.
It was
What do you buy?
What do you buy?
Well,
And again, not our
not our
wheelhouse. Not our wheelhouse.
So if you
I'm not in operations, and that sounds awful.
it's a good theme though, isn't it, about just sticking to what you're good at,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you mentioned about cushioning, right? And again, this is because it's an important pillar. We've made it's made us learn about there's a real fine balance between it being right and wrong.
Yeah.
So when we launched our first beach flip flop in Vitasol, which was they're called Venice and Rome, but the original launch, they were a little bit harder, just a fraction, and we softened it up by a few percentage, and it made all the difference. But we launched it, and I think that was one of those ones where, in hindsight, we should have produced a bunch and sent it out and got feedback straight away. It was a low cost, initiative, but we should have got feedback from the consumer.
Yeah.
And because, for 5% of softness, it just didn't quite resonate with, say, the customer. And
Well, I think, I mean, you've got your flip-flops, the well-known brands that are, just general flip-flops, and they are a bit harder, but they're based on their brand.
Yeah.
So we're coming at it, we're a comfort brand.
With arch support,
providing you these flip-flops. People expect it to be a bit softer than it was, which I think we've really perfected that formula now.
It's radically changed, but it took us a lesson. It took
Yeah.
us a massive. I think we bought in the first one. We bought in like a couple of 40-foot containers.
Love a 40-foot container.
He backs himself, this bloke.
That's a lot of flip flops. Let me tell you.
Yeah, you can say a lot of things about Jeff, mate, but he backs himself every time.
Definitely.
Definitely.
I mean, when you go manufacturing, one of the things you learn is when you do build. One of the nice things, you go direct and you can get the product.
Yeah.
But they often say, and you got to take a 40-foot container. Or you got to take the volume. So,
Yeah, it is.
There's a bit going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and shoes can fill a container pretty fast,
Yeah. Yeah. So no, but that's a good lesson. Back to the quality side. I mean, I think it shouldn't. We've had lots of learnings there, and I think one of the things is that we make so many shoes. We make probably every year we make 200 new styles or 200 new, and we have lots of different production runs and all that. So quality is such a hard thing to get right every time. All right, and we do our best to make sure it doesn't affect the customer by making sure we've done our QA or all that. But one of the funniest experience I had with QA was our first Revere sandal, and it's do you want to just grab that one on the floor there, Ben? Just the brown one. So our first Revere sandal was this was in 2013, I think we launched Revere, and we spent over a year developing, or over 18 months developing this, and we were going and we were focusing on the colours and the design and all that. But one of the things we sort of expected the factory to actually work out that the left needed to be the same as the right. No. And we expected that as a given.
No.
And what we got, we ordered the container.
No.
And basically here, the left was like at that position and the right was further back. So it was like a centimetre difference.
I don't remember that. Oh,
And
my goodness.
people were going, is this a fit feature? Is this a feature?
Oh, wow.
So, in the end, the factory made the whole lot, air freighted it over and recovered, right?
Okay.
And we recovered and all that. But it's a good experience about you can't take things for granted in this business.
Yeah.
You really do need to.
Yeah,
I remember
after that. So I don't remember that specific issue. That's horrific. But I remember after that we would get the shoes in and you would be drawing on my feet with pen to mark where the straps went to. Well, and it was obviously for that reason.
For that reason. And what they do now,
trauma.
what they do now in the factory is, because they learned from that, is they have, the last is that foot form that sits in there, and they build the upper around it. So now they actually mask tape, or they put lines on the last, depending on what shoe they're making. So they would say this is the Carolina position, or whatever, for that reason.
Right.
But the factory learned as well. The other thing we learned, there's so many stories in Revere that just there's many different stories. But
there is.
They used to, when you take this out of the mold, this is a really advanced construction in terms of they actually make the upper, then they pour the material around the upper to form the outsole. It's not pre-made and glued on.
Yeah.
So they go and they trim, and they just need to do a little trim, take a little bit of excess off. So they were trimming, and they were putting a little tiny knife cut
I remember that.
at the top.
Yeah.
So then we'd get them in there, and after about 3 weeks, they'd be cracking.
Yeah.
And, again,
Guys.
so factory, learn, move on. And I guess that's one of the things too. It's not only us, we've got to make sure we're working with our partners.
Yeah.
We all learn. It's not a perfect world.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect. If it was perfect, it'd be easy. Everyone would do it. But it's a learning along the way that makes a difference.
It's a lot of iterations. How many samples, on average, how many samples do you think we go through for every new style that comes through?
We would probably, I would say, we'd do at least five development samples, and at least about 2 or 3 fit samples.
Yeah. So it's a lot of air freighting from the factories to get them here and develop them and things. And that's a big burden and cost on the factories and
the factory invests in that.
Yep.
So that's their investment, and then obviously they will then get they'll take the gains when we put orders in.
Yep.
And hopefully refills. Our goal is to create shoes that people love, and then they buy next year and the year after, and we just add new colours. That's a perfect position, because really people like that as well.
Yeah.
We find.
Yeah. Yeah, they like being able to go back and get a new colour or the same style again.
Exactly. Is there any other sort of quality issues that you guys have seen? And
quality
that
issues? No, not so much. There's definitely different lining materials can have different impacts, so we try our best to have really good lining materials in our shoes. I remember another Revere story, because, that's the one we've developed for so long, so I guess we have more stories there. I think we tried to go a little bit too far into the fashion side of things. If you look at Revere, they're pretty, but, they're there for a purpose. And obviously, we have nice colours and everything. But I don't know if you remember the trend of lace sandals, Ben?
Lace sandals, yeah.
So maybe not. So they're, you do up a lace, they're all open sandals with laces on it. So we had 2 of those styles on this outsole. And so they came in these wacky snake materials and metallics and things like that. They were honestly, we spent years trying to get through them. We just learned a lesson. It's in the
Museum of Revere now.
It's in the Museum of Revere. We have to make sure that they look good on the outsole, not just take a fashion trend and try and force it into a brand. Yeah. And we're lucky now that we have lots of different brands to play with uppers as well. So if we see an upper we like, we can say, it probably fits more of the Mia Vida mold than Revere. Where back in those days we were just like Revere excited and wanted to get everything on there.
Yeah. So it sounds like one of the big lessons that we've kind of taken along the way is not trying to jam trends in, but work trends around what we do.
Yeah.
So still very much keeping your finger on the pulse to what's going on, but what will work for us rather than trying to give it some bells and whistles that just don't fit.
Being able to articulate what's special about the brand, like Revere, we can say it's probably the Rolls-Royce of fitting brands.
Yeah.
It's because it uses a lot of Velcro and uses a lot of other features, and it's got beautiful arch support and so forth. We know that. It's great materials. And the same with Mia Vida, has a particular place, like nice arch support, cushioning, perhaps a little bit more fashion built into Mia Vida, whereas Revere would be more classic. Right? But, to Lani's point, look, let's face it, one of the biggest selling shoes in the market is Birkenstock, right? And it's a great shoe. And we think, oh, that sells millions. I'm going to create a Birkenstock looking shoe. We could do that. We wouldn't sell hardly any of them. We'd sell a few, but, and we'd make it a bit different. But at the end of the day, that is special to Birkenstock. And what we've got to do is make stuff special to what we're good at.
Yeah, for sure.
Which we do.
We do,
Yeah, we got ranges and ranges of absolutely terrific shoes with that comfort recipe built right in. That's
it's so
something
important.
we can be really proud of.
It's so important, and you've been with us on our journey really of refining our marketing and our brands and stuff like that. But the surge of comfort brands in the last 5 to 10 years has meant that you have to be competitive on branding. You have to be telling your story, and you have to be incorporating that in every single shoe that you do and have good quality. Otherwise, you won't survive.
No. What is so important for us is customers loving what we give them, right? And being raving fans is a bit of a cliche, but it's such an important aspect. And so we know that something's working. And as I say, we value the idea of being able to run styles for many years and colour up and do iterations. And for us, ultimately, the customer feedback really helps us roll our business down that path. So customers generally feedback to us because the first thing they say, I can tell you most of the time, it's all about the shoe fits perfectly.
Yeah.
It's like it's an ooh-la experience for them.
Yeah.
Wow experience. The shoe fits perfectly. We should always remember that. It's number one on the customer's mind.
Yes.
Right. And then things like it's soft and cushioning and great support is there important. I would say, and this is that the shoe fitting perfectly is more important than the best looking shoe on the shelf.
Yeah.
And it's got to be given that the shoe looks very good.
Yeah.
It's got to be given. But I say you don't. If your shoe fits perfectly every time, you're going to get a lot of customers love you. Then there's going to be pretty shoes out there.
I mean, we see that in store. We have people coming into our stores, and you can offer them 2 of the shoes, and like you said, one of them can be more attractive.
Yeah.
As soon as they try it on, they're definitely going for the one that fits and is more comfortable.
Yeah.
And the evidence to kind of support that is just how many super fans we have of the Revere brand.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for lots of our Revere super fans, they haven't been able to wear those. We have the sandals where you can remove the outsole and they can wear their actual custom made orthotics in the sandal. And for lots of people, they haven't been able to wear sandals for years. So obviously, they can go to the beach again. We live in Australia. We want to go to the beach. So and that becomes the super fan. So that's, why we have one of our styles, the Miami, has been going. I can imagine that would probably be one of your first, right? But that's
the next gen, second gen after these ones, the ones that have
Actually,
different left and right.
and that goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. So we have people that will buy a pair of Miamis on the dot every single year, and now we have different colors and different styles and this and that to kind of accommodate them. But it really gives people the opportunity to love their shoes again. That all comes down to fit.
It does. It's interesting you mentioned about just one of the really amazing feedbacks from Revere, and it's a small story, but it's an interesting story about fit. Was we've got raving fans that actually have AFOs.
Yeah.
And meaning often they might have a false leg, but they put the sandal on the false leg. It fits nicely. It does all that, and then they wear the sandal on their foot.
Wow.
But there's those stories there that are pretty motivating in terms of
that's so nice.
Wear a sandal. And, feel good about themselves. Yep.
How good.
Yeah.
No, really.
So love it. Customer feedback's everything, and we can tell when a shoe keeps going and going and going. We know that the customers love it.
Yeah, and then when we have a learning to be made, we also relish the customer feedback, and especially quick customer feedback, because we can make quick changes.
Yeah.
And we really want to improve in what we do.
100%.
Onwards and upwards.
All right. Well, it's been great to talk to you about this. This is really, it was a little bit of some of our deep secrets. Hopefully you won't hold them against us. But, they do tell you a little bit about what we're all about. And we look forward to seeing you again. Thanks, Ben. And
Cheers,
thanks,
guys.
Allanah.
Thank you.
Much.
See you again.
Thank you for joining us on the Comfort Walk and Talk by the Comfort Co. If you like this episode and you got something out of it, we would love your support with a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Don't forget to subscribe on your favourite channels and never miss a step on your journey to comfort.
Please follow us for more insights and updates on the Comfort Co social media channels. Until the next episode, see you later.